Hi there, this is David Paul in Montreal, Canada. Today we're doing a tour of my backyard and garden. We're starting here at the porch. I have a table and some chairs on the porch, and I've just put out some watermelon with a couple of toothpick umbrellas, and that's going to be my reward once I finish doing this video of the May 29th Montreal Zone 4 garden. I've also got some cut peonies on the table, and if we were to have dinner here, this is exactly where we'd sit. This would be your seat at the table, and this would be mine on the other side. So I often have meals out here. Beside the table and chairs is a nice glider, so we can have a margarita or an aperitif and sit on the glider and kind of experience that rhythm together. Now from the porch, having dinner, you can look out and see the backyard. It's such a nice view. There's the bird bath, and there's the back wall of Garden-Montreal.avi. On the right side, we have a big blossoming happening there, which I'll go up close to in a moment. That goes down the right bank, or the right side of the garden, and we cover the back garden, and then we have what's called the left bank. You can see on the left bank in that far corner there, which faces east where the sun comes up, that's where the gate of my yard is, and that's where the morning sun is first seen. So I'm walking down the porch here, and I'm walking toward what is called the lattice garden, because there's a big piece of lattice here with Christmas lights that I turn on at night. In the lattice garden I have one of my Buddhas, and the Buddha is surrounded by daylilies and some phlox that will daylilies will come out and bloom in July, and the phlox in August. So going from the lattice garden down the left bank, we have that particular view, going right into the corner and across the back garden and into the arch corner. We have that particular view, and then we come along the right side of the garden, and just off of where we would dine, we have the porch garden. I just have to show you though, in the porch garden there are some irises that are just so blue, so pretty, so just right today. And of course we also have down there the laughing Buddha, who keeps us lighthearted. Now along the patio is the patio garden. It stretches all along, parallel to the porch, all along the patio, and though it featured tulips in May, right now it's featuring these Roseanne geraniums, which I say are a tribute to my sister Roseanne out in Saskatchewan. And also with the Roseanne geraniums, we have the garden here just filled with bachelor buttons. Now bachelor buttons appeal to the contemporary in me because, you know, they don't actually look like flowers, they look more like spaceships. So we'll now proceed down the left bank and have our first look at peonies. The peonies are just in their prime. At least the first wave of them are in their prime right now, and some of them are just so abundant that it kind of makes you take pause and, you know, fill with awe because they're just so abundant. Here's a group here that must be comprised of over a dozen peonies, and they're looking wonderful. So we continue down the left bank and into the gate corner and across the back garden, and we'll go now to the directly opposite side where we've got another group of happening peonies going on. Some different ones happening here. For example, right here we have my favorite, or one of my favorites, the lollipop peonies. And next to the lollipop peonies we have a huge blossoming of what are called the Festiva Maxima peonies. Festiva Maxima is basically a white peony, but what distinguishes it from other white peonies is that in the center you've got an ink spot of burgundy ink, and so it just throws off that pure white. Here's the sorbet peony, And the last one that I'll show you, actually, it's going to be a group of several. This is wonderfully named the Gay Paris Peony. It's got the pink ridge and the white center, and such a lovely name. So now, perhaps the next thing we can do is walk over to the gate, and I'll actually pull the gate open and walk through it and show you what I call le jardin sauvage, the wild garden. This is something I kind of put together very spontaneously, never expected it to be what it is, but all across the back of my property is this incredible garden, which is really just a tract of city land. And I put everything here that I didn't want in my yard, and so consequently I've got quite a spontaneous garden here with tons of buttercups, a beautiful perennial which is about to explode called yellow stars. I've got a lot of the woodland anemones here. They're happy here because they only get a couple of hours sun a day, and they're all crowded in by the bishop scoutweed. So here is a view of that, what I call the parking garden, because the parking for the condo adjacent to my building is right here, and there it is. You see, all along the wall of vines of my backyard, you've got this beautiful garden, which is a real jardin sauvage. So now I'm walking along the wild garden, and I'm re-entering the yard, and there you can see the yard, and I'm going over the gate. You can see my back door. Once again, we look at the back garden, bird bath, the peonies on one side, the porch garden, and we have the lattice garden in the right bank, and we walk by once again these gorgeous peonies, which have probably only a few more days, and then a new wave of peonies will take over right after that. Now, we'll finish up the video here at my wall fountain. You know, the sound of running water can be so calming, and that's exactly what this running water does for me in the garden. And kind of a magical touch is that vines just started growing up around it. I don't know what kind of vine they are, but they just, something indigenous that grew up around the fountain and just made the whole scene picture perfect. So thanks for checking out my Zone 4 Montreal garden.